Friends, welcome to Itafy. Breaking Bad is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. For those who have not seen it on Netflix, it is a story of a high school chemistry teacher diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer who turns to manufacturing and selling methamphetamine, in other words meth, in order to secure his family's future. During a vulnerable situation, he tells his brother-in-law Hank that, quote, "I have spent my whole life scared, frightened of things that could happen, might not happen. 50 years I spent like that, finding myself awake at 3 in the morning. But you know what? Ever since my diagnosis, I've slept just fine. What I come to realize is that fear, that is the worst of it. That is the real enemy. So get up, get out in the real world, and you kick that fear as hard as you can right in the teeth." Unquote. Eventually, he becomes this invincible accidental figure named Heisenberg and starts giving nightmares to even the dreaded drug lords out there. At the end of the day, the tight script, storyline, and performances were so gripping that unrealistic plot seemed very real and relatable. Now, switching gears to Drishyam 2, where I'll be spilling out some spoilers and hence would request you to watch the movie before moving on. The last 30 to 40 minutes were the epic court scene of Drishyam that everyone is raving about is when the public prosecutor has literal jaw-dropping moment. George Clooney as cool as a cucumber even when court announces the forensics report came negative. He doesn't even move his eyelids during that scene. This is the most epic scene, and the beauty of it is George Clooney totally standing frozen, even though he should have been rejoicing that moment as everything was happening according to his script. Think about it, friends. When you have a superstar like Mohanlal orchestrating something extraordinary in a turning point moment, any director would have wanted to capitalize on it, to create a scene with mass elements, slow motion scene, or a zoom in, zoom out kind of camera work. But Jeetu kept it quite subtle. There was a moment of silence, and that is why it all looked beautiful and real. Although there is an element of guilt that George Clooney is grappling with, which does not allow him to celebrate such a massive success. George didn't have a plan A, plan B, or plan C. He just had one backup plan and heavily persevered during his past years to conspire and make that a possibility when push comes to shove. In the next scene where Thomas Bastian IPS, played by Murali Gopi, and George Clooney cross paths in the court's walkway, those few seconds shows the epic defeat of the whole law enforcement system by a commoner who just used the loopholes in our system to escape from it unharmed. In Breaking Bad, the protagonist has only 1 mantra in life: to secure his family's future. Initially, he breaks the law, assuming that it would be one-time thing to secure some money for his family as he is diagnosed with cancer, has nothing to lose if he gets caught by the authorities. Later, when he realizes that the extraordinary chemist in him is making the quality of drug to be the best in the world, he finds ways to stay in business, locking horns with some of the biggest troublemakers in the drug business. Now, I'm just throwing out some hypotheses on what could happen in Drishyam 3. In part 1, George Clooney was just being meticulously reactive to the accidental murder that turned his family life upside down. He conspired through and reacted to the situations as they happened. In Drishyam Part 2, the resumption, George Clooney, who had already seen his family go through the drill day in and day out during the investigation in Part 1, wanted to be proactive and did everything he could to pre-plan in anticipation to the day when law establishments finds out the body to pursue immediate action against George Clooney. Now, we all know George Clooney is not a cold-blooded murderer or feels good about this ploy. He certainly feels guilty about it, and he even fulfills the wishes of the victim's parents towards the end of the movie. It may seem like a good closure, but the idea here is that Geeta Prabhakar, played by Asha Sharath, might not keep calm and let go of it. Likewise, it just takes someone more influential in law enforcement establishments whose ego has been hurt badly to keep looking for some vulnerable moments of George Clooney and family to trap them. George Clooney, who has grown big financially, has also grown in terms of intelligence. As I said before, in the first part, George was reactive, and in the second part, he was proactive. But in both these parts, he was just being defensive, basically defending the well-being of his family. I think it would be interesting to see if George Clooney would become someone like Heisenberg of Breaking Bad, or in other words, will he go offensive? If George Clooney is really serious about protecting his family at any cost, I think the only way for him is to grow influential and invincible. I think India has its own dynamics about how a person can become invincible. The easiest way is to become a politician, or someone who controls the politicians through money and muscle, just like Mohanlal's character in Lucifer, On the other hand, we can also say that Jeetu Joseph is not going to change the character too much, and he may just stick to a simple man with deep guilt inside him but raises up when their family is in trouble. Friends, as I end this video, compared to the first part of Drishyam, now is when there is more anticipation for part 3, part 4 and so on, right? As the director kept the part 2 open-ended compared to part 1. Jeetu Joseph recently revealed that he already has a killer climax for his next part and everybody's impressed by it. By now, it is very clear that Jeetu and crew are not going to make the next just for the financial prospects of it, as it will be suicidal and would even defame the first 2 parts. It is very sensitive subject which needs to be handled with utmost care, as there are many societal and moral issues at stake here. Hope Jeetu and crew are back with another mouth-watering thriller. Let me know what you think about this video and future prospects of Drishyam sequel or universe. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Thank you again. Bye for now.